Hi and welcome to Wendy Rae's Idol Recap. Wow, what a show. 2 hours jam-packed full of stuff. And because of that, my review is going to be over 2 segments instead of just 1, and I apologize for that, but there was just no way around it. There is too much information to get to you in a short period of time. Let's get right to it. They started out the show showing us the 3 rooms that they had broken up the contestants into, and then they spotlighted one contestant from each one of those rooms, and they called them the front runners or the favorites so far. And one of those, or the first one they showed, was Angela Martin from room number 3. We first met Angela in Chicago, and I called her a standout for good reason. This girl is good. Now, she's the one who has been to Idol 2 times previously, didn't get to go to Hollywood because her father died the first time, and didn't get to go to Hollywood the second time because she had that court issue. God love Angela. 3rd time's a charm. This is her time. She's amazing. Keep your eye on her. Then we saw Casey James. Now, you know I have a little bit of a crush on Casey James. He was in room number 1, and just to be fair, I said I'm going to base my review solely on his singing and not look at him, which is what I did. He came out there and said he was going to do Bubbly, and I went, no, please don't do Bubbly. Are you crazy? But he did it, and he turned the song around and made it his own, and I loved it. I think the guy's got an amazing voice, and that is based solely on his singing and nothing to do with his looks. And then out of room number 2, we saw Jermaine Purifoy. Now, we met Jermaine in Orlando. This is his 2nd time to try out. He tried out in season number 7, and I wasn't really sold on him originally, but then he kind of has proved himself through Hollywood, but then he comes out and does Brick House. Wrong song choice. I thought, oh no, I'm not really sure how he's going to do, but we'll have to see. Then they moved into group 1 or room 1, and they showed us all of the people, or a couple of the people in room 1. And the first person we got to see was another Jermaine Sellers. Now, we met him in Atlanta, and I called him a standout with good reason. The guy is really good. Was it my favorite performance? Absolutely not. And then Kara said, don't throw the band under the bus. Well, maybe the band shouldn't have done something wrong to cause him some problems, but we'll have to see what happens to old Jermaine Sellers. Next, we had Siobhan Magnus. Now, we haven't seen much of Siobhan, but she rocked it. I mean, this girl is really good, and she's one to keep your eye on. Then we saw Crystal Bowersox. You know, I love Crystal. I think she's amazing. I don't think this was her best performance, but it was still really good and very solid. She's a good performer. That's all there is to it. Then we saw Alex Lambert. Alex just looks like he's having a great time up there, doesn't he? I mean, he just looks like he's having fun, which makes you love his performance. We'll have to see how Alex does. Then they got to show us Mike Lynch, otherwise known as Big Mike. We know he made it, but his dad's got a big mouth. Made me sad. In fact, this wasn't one of my favorite performances. However, he's been solid in the past, so that's probably why he makes it through. Then we had Todrick Hall. Now, we met him in Dallas, and I told you that Todrick Hall was going to be in the top 12, not only the top 24. But then they showed his final performance, and I don't think it was top 12 worthy. I was very disappointed. Todrick is still one of my favorites. I can't deny that, but he's going to need to pick it up. He's going to need to pick it up because that was not worthy of a top 12 spot. Then we had a montage of Thaddeus Johnson's mother jumping up and down and hugging him and wiping his tears. So cute. That's exactly how I would react if my son, Austin, were doing that. So I thought that was really cute. And I really like Thaddeus. I think he's got a great voice. I think he's got a fun personality. So I hope that he does well. Now, because of all the hoopla and press that Mike Lynch got about making it into the top 24, we already knew that everybody in room number 1 was going to go through, which made it really exciting for me because 3 of my favorites were in room number 1. That's Casey James, as you know, Todrick Hall, and then also Andrew Garcia was in room number 1. He's the guy with the gang parents that sang the Paula Abdul song the very first time of Hollywood, and he is great. So I was really excited to know about him. Then they moved into room number 2, and they started off with Charity Vance. Now, Charity was from Chicago. She's the beauty parlor singer, real young. Remember her? I thought her performance was excellent, and I thought she looked amazing. They went straight into Tasha Layton, who I called a standout from LA. She was the worship leader. And I, again, thought her performance was amazing. So I'm thinking room number 2 is bringing it. So they're probably the ones going to go through until they brought out Mary Powers. Now, as you know, I was a huge Mary Powers fan. I really liked Mary and loved her raspy voice, loved her attitude up until she got to group round. And then we saw a dark side of Mary that I didn't really like. And then we saw the interview that she did before her final round. And she said, my song was cake, and I'm not intimidated, I'm intimidating. and that really turned me off. A little bit too much confidence there. You need to be a little bit humble to get my vote, and so I was already a little turned off, and then she took the stage and sang the complete wrong song. I thought she butchered it. I thought it was awful, and I thought, oh no, there's no way they'll put her through. So then I started to worry about room number 2. Then they brought Lloyd Thomas, otherwise known as Sexy, the Dallas dock worker. Wasn't my favorite performance, but he still did pretty well. Next was Brian Walker. He's the singing cop from Atlanta. When we met him in Atlanta, I said, I don't think he's got it. I still don't think he's got it. I don't think he has the star power. He's got a nice voice, but he's just not a star. So too bad for Brian. Then we have Hope Johnson. Now, let's talk about Hope for a second. Hope is the poverty-stricken little girl who gave the food to her little brother. She is beautiful and sweet and adorable, but the girl can't sing. I told you when we met her at Road to Hollywood that she couldn't sing, and I was surprised she made it to Hollywood. I'm actually surprised she's made it this far. Not a big fan of Hope. Love her, want to be her friend, don't want to listen to her sing. Now we move to room number 3, and we start out with Shelby Dressel. Now Shelby we met in Orlando, big heart, lots of courage, absolutely adore her, sang a Boston song, scared me half to death, but did a pretty good job. Little pitchy, but did a pretty good job. Then Aaron Kelly came out. Now when we met him on the Road to Hollywood as well. He's the one whose aunt is raising him. I really, really liked Aaron. I said he had the full package. He has the looks, he has the voice, and he has the story. And he hasn't disappointed in Hollywood. Obviously, he's made it this far until he gets there and forgets his lyrics, which broke my heart. And I thought, oh, Lord, Aaron, I'm so worried about you. I hope that you make it. But then we'd have to see. Hopefully the judges will realize the kid's got a great voice. And then we saw Ashley Rodriguez. Now, you know I love Ashley. Called her a standout in Boston. She did not disappoint. Still amazing. Then they did Lee DeWise and Joe Munoz really quick in a row. Lee did pretty good. And then I thought when Joe was going, I'm so glad I'm not a judge, because if I had to hear Man in the Mirror one more time, I just don't think I could have handled it. Because, you know, everybody did Man in the Mirror. And I actually am a huge Michael Jackson fan and love that song, but another Man in the Mirror and I would have lost it. Then they showed Haley Vaughn. Now, she looked amazing, but was not my favorite performance. I was a little bit upset with it. She's the one that sings with a little lisp, but that's actually becoming so cute and endearing that I just love it. Wish she would have brought it a little bit more, but maybe the nerves got the best of her. But still, not bad. Janelle Wheeler was the final one that we got to see, and she said she blew it. I'm going to have to say, I don't think you blew it, but I think you picked the wrong song. Kara said she picked the wrong song. She sang Taylor Swift. It's my son's favorite song, but I don't think it was right for her. However, I don't think she blew it. She is too good. I mean, the girl is just too good for them to let her go. Taking that into consideration, I said during that break before they came back to tell each room which one was going and which one was staying, you know what? I think it's room 2. And sure enough, I was right. They come back, they show us room 1, not a big surprise. They're going through. Let me tell you who else is in that room. Michael Lynch, Casey James, Tim Urban, Tyler Brady, Andrew Garcia, gang parents love him, Katie Stevens, love her, Jermaine Sellers, Tori Kelly, 16-year-old that looks about 26, Todrick Hall, Lily Scott, didn't think that was a great performance though, Thaddeus Johnson, and Siobhan Magnus. Then they go into room 2, hearing the screams in room number 1, know that they may be in trouble. They walk in, break their heart, say, yep, you're gone. I just wanted to hug Hope Johnson. God love that little girl. And along with Hope in that room was Mary Powers, Kia Johnson, Lloyd Sexy Thomas, Christian Spear, Brian Walker, Charity Vance, and Tasha Layton. Then we finally move into room number 3. We pretty much know that they're going to make it through. They could have thrown a wrench and decided to let 2 rooms go, but I didn't think that was going to happen. And they find out they've made it. And moving on is Shelby Dressel, Haley Vaughn, Maddie Penrose, Jessica Fernie, Angela Martin, John Park, who the one that Shania Twain was in love with, Dee Dee Benami, my son's absolute favorite of the season, Janelle Wheeler, who absolutely deserved it, Ashley Rodriguez, and sweet little forgetting the lyrics, Aaron Kelly. I'm going to be back on the next segment, and we're going to talk about who is in the top 24. I will see you in a minute.